We're like, excellent. Just acres, no one's around. This guy, like as if he just like comes out of the cornfield. We're like, who the hell is this guy? He's just like, hey, heard y'all shooting a movie. We're like, hell no.
Coming to the stage, joining us for the first time on West Coast Pop, the five-time Atlantic City Cinefest winner, Anna Shields.
A group of graduate students go into the woods in search of the legendary Bigfoot, but get more than they bargained for because these northeastern woods are also inhabited by the legendary Wendigo. That is the premise for the new movie, Dawn of the Beast. With us right now is the writer and co-star, Anna Shields. How you doing, Anna?
Good. How are you guys?
We're good because we just watched a kick-ass horror movie last night.
Ooh.
We did, man. Oh, what a movie.
I am honored.
Well,
Anna, are you a fan of Denzel?
Denzel? Yeah, of course.
Oh,
what?
Man. Well, it looks like you took inspiration because King Kong ain't got shit on this.
Oh, you're the best. You know, I was going to watch that last night and then I didn't, and I need to watch it still.
Oh, man. No, not when you got a Wendigo and Bigfoot.
Oh,
that's the matchup of the year.
Big epic battle.
For real.
All right, Knock, why don't you start us off with the questions?
Yeah, so Anna, man, we just watched this movie last night, and what's some of the feedback you've been getting so far?
I try really hard not to pay attention to reviews and stuff, for my mental health, but it's been a lot of people just think it's pretty fun, you know. Obviously, It's not a big thinker. And there was one really funny comment, I gotta say. It was like under the trailer, somebody said, when your mom says, no, we have Godzilla versus Kong at home. Which I'm like, all right.
Oh, man.
I liked that one.
Yeah.
That's good. So from a writing process as a whole, just kind of take us through the whole thing. Research, inspiration, notes you got from Bruce Wimple, who is also the director, and also maybe from the studio. And then if you want to piggyback that into what came from the final script and ended up into the final cut.
Sure. Yeah. So Bruce and I had been working on like a lot of films before this too. So we did a Bigfoot one that I wrote originally a couple of years ago called Monstrous. And then he kind of went off and did this one called The Retreat, which was the Wendigo. So for this one, we went through the same distribution and our sales agent was like, you know what? Do you want one with both the monsters? And the distribution was like, yeah. So it was one of those situations where it wasn't like we had an idea and went to distribution. They already gave us the go ahead, like, okay, we're going to fund this, blah, blah, blah. So from that, Bruce and I were kind of going back and forth, and he's really great at structuring and outlining and everything. Mm-hmm. So we kind of talked a lot, and he came up with this big backstory, like, okay, hold on. What if there's been this like epic battle going on between Bigfoot and the Wendigo, just no one knows about, but it's just been going on for ages. And like Bigfoot's the protector of the forest, but the Wendigo is this evil spirit, and it's kind of like they're just always battling and we don't know about it. So we got that down, got a solid outline. I go through and I literally write it all. Mm-hmm. And then distribution left us alone pretty well for the notes on this one, because the past two were a lot headier and more character driven. This one was kind of just balls to the wall, like, all right, we're going to have fun. It's going to be focused on the monster, not the characters, although I always try to put a little character stuff in.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was mostly just Bruce and I going back and forth. And one of the huge things we talked about throughout the whole process was make sure the monster is like the focal point in literally like every scene. So even if it's like a scene with just like two characters not really dealing with it, like just something in there, or just keep that to like under a page. Which was like a new thing for us. And we really also worked out the different scares and everything, which was, a lot more camera work and stuff. So we were kind of in contact, like, okay, so somebody's going to run across the wall at this part and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, it changed. I was actually writing until the 2 days, I think, before I flew out to shoot it, because we were just constantly changing. And I think originally when we edited it, it was like 70 minutes or something. And then we kind of added on an extra little thing at the end and stuff like that. but yeah.
Nice. Smart choice doing that too, because movies to me like Cloverfield or other movies that hide the monster, it's like that's what I'm there for. I'm there to ride the roller coaster. Let me on the ride.
Right. Yeah. We actually had a special effects guy, Jared Blog, who was like insane. He works like with TV shows and stuff, and he lives in the upstate New York area where we shot, and he was just so sweet and helped us out just because he like believed in it. And so we finally had just like an opportunity to use these insane special effects and stuff. So we're like, we can show the monsters.
Oh man, I really liked how in the beginning you really set the tone. Like the first 7 minutes, I decided I'll sit in a dark room, I'll put some headphones on, and I'm gonna watch this, and that was a mistake. I was freaking out a little bit, Ed. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Sweet.
How was it shooting this when you were finally on location and being in that atmosphere? Because I felt it too with the movie.
I think so. So Bruce went and shot that without me because we shot, I think it was at least a month earlier to the actual shoot, which worked out because the guy in that comes back later looking completely different. So we were like, yeah, we planned it. So for that cold open, I think we were sort of using that as just like getting the funding, because we already sort of had it, but we were just like proving what we were doing. So we made sure to have both monsters in there and have like really focus in on the scares and prove like since the past two movies were so character heavy, we were like, no, this is what this one is. It is a Bigfoot and Wendigo movie. Here you go. So yeah, I wasn't actually on there for that, but I did hear that they weren't able to start shooting until like, I think midnight or 1 a.m. or something. I know it lasted until like 4 or 5, I know. And the sound guy went to bed. Our sound guy we use a lot, who does the music. He's great with music and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just so happy when I saw that. I was like, oh yes, the tone of the movie. It's done.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
When you're writing, do you get writer's block, or like what like inspires you to write or not get writer's block? I mean, is it just natural to you, or do you like shroom up and go to Joshua Tree? Like, what's the process?
Dude, 100% I get it. Especially during this. So when COVID started, I wrote the first 3 months, I think I wrote 5 features. And yeah. So that like when this first started, I was like, oh great, like we're done with the jobs, blah blah blah, like I can just sit here, of course I'm gonna write. And like at that point nothing was shooting yet, so I wasn't auditioning really. So at that point I felt like I had all this free time, I can do it, and just I went into like this manic hyperdrive, and I was like, what's writer's block? Just wrote like 5 scripts. Now, even though I'm finding myself like we're finally getting funding and doing it, I don't know what happened. It's just been this COVID thing for so long, and kind of slowing down. And I definitely, and it's hard because it's like I think I actually, weirdly enough, write faster when I'm given an idea I almost have to do. Like I definitely get writer's block sometimes. And I don't really know what the answer to it is either. Like I look online and some people say, oh, you need to write every day and blah, blah, blah. And like, sometimes I find that worse for me because that starts feeling like work, and I like it to not feel like that. But what I think is helpful is when I have auditions for scripts I don't love, because it sort of fuels it. And I'm like, this is getting made. You know what? And it kind of helps. And I can spin off.
Very true.
Yeah, I think some of the stuff like for me, what helps with like some of the writer's block is like I'm sure you have a notepad. You're taking notes like all the time about your everyday life going on and experiences and whatnot. But yeah, there's no real answer to it, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I think it pretends there is. I'm like,
Yeah. But getting into like the movie and like some of the characters you did talk about, there's a lot of interesting and very different characters in this movie. But your character in specific, Lily, she's a badass. And throughout this movie, we see that.
Thank you.
But she does have a little bit of a soft side. She doesn't like to show a lot. How is it embodying Lily?
It was so much fun. So whenever I write, I like to pretend that I'm not in it. And I think that when I was questioning whether I would do it, just because of flying there and everything, and I ended up doing it. But it was so much fun, especially since I think in real life I try to be like nicer to people. And then I think when I get to be that kind of rough thing, just say like what's in the back of a lot of people's minds, it's almost like cathartic, like therapy. But definitely the heavy eye makeup and everything helps you get in the part. But there was like a few takes. I think I was like improving a little in some scene. Of course, it got cut. Wow. I think Bruce makes he's like, "You're sounding like funny Anna," and I'm like, yeah. It's a lot of fun. I think it's fun when I'm playing something that's very unlike me. So, although I am, I guess, a badass, you know, it just comes out.
Come on, you kick some
I'm
butt
not
too,
fucking
man,
with
in
you.
real life.
Yeah.
All right. So as Lily, you're the writer, you're being Lily. How do you turn that off? And do you ever like get agitated when someone tries to improv a line that you wrote?
Okay. It's very hard. Yeah, and I think it depends on the movie too, but I think just making this to be like so much less precious. Not that it was precious, but with something like back with Monstrous, like it was a lot more serious and everything. So like I was very like, no, this is a really important scene and blah blah. With this one, it's just fun, and it's like if the crew and the cast isn't having fun, like you're gonna notice. So I want people to improv and stuff. And that ending, we didn't write it like that. Like it was completely on the fly. We were hanging out and we came up with it. So nice. I really embrace that kind of stuff. And with me, sometimes I do find it harder to act when I wrote it, just because this voice in my head, and a lot of times it's not even me. Like when I'm writing it and picturing like somebody completely different. And then I'm suddenly doing it and I'm like, wow, I thought I knew how this line was supposed to be delivered and now I'm doing it differently. I don't know. So I try really hard to just forget I wrote it. And with this one, it was a little easier because I was rewriting until, like I said, I think 2 days before I went. So it was easy to be like, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't.
But there's some parts of this movie. Well, was it ever hard to keep character? You know, there's the lines, great lines, khaki pants, man. You spit on me. That kind of got me sometimes. And even this, like I said, with the atmosphere, it's so haunting. Was there any moments you broke character, or like, how was it on set like that?
Yeah, no, 100%. Right. Literally that you spit on me line. I was trying to improv and I kept, that was the scene. That was the last scene we shot. So the scene is called Settling In. And literally the point is that we all come in, we're settling in for the night before things start getting weird. I think it's probably like one page, maybe a page and a half. Yeah. And for some reason we all were like, what the hell happened? We weren't like drinking at the point. We were told everyone could not stop laughing. And I think we were just so exhausted at that point that we just were trying to get through this one page scene and I couldn't stop laughing. Even with that, like I was improving and everybody was cracking up. And then we all had our beers trying to hide the name and everyone couldn't handle it. And we kept like turning the brand name to the camera. And I think it took hours to get this like page done. And we were like, my God. And then there was this actor, Chris Simperman, and he was just walking around all day on set going, it was weird. But yeah, throughout the whole thing, we kept breaking character. And just the actor, he just a song about his own character under his breath. And like, I don't think we were rolling, but like the sound guy was, so we got it. But he just started singing, he was like, run, run. Everett's gonna get you.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, did you just start singing a song about your own character? There you go.
That's good.
So when writing, I know it's really hard to do, especially with ensemble pieces, but how do you balance out between scares, character building, and humor? Because this movie does it all well, and it is something that a lot of horror movies just struggle to do, especially because you have to be somewhat invested in the characters to give a shit about them. And again, not just because we know you, but you do it well in this one. So is there any tricks to the process?
Thank you. Yeah, that's actually what I find literally the hardest, especially with horror. And and I love horror. I watch it constantly, like all different ones. So really just nailing the tone. It's constantly what Bruce and I talk about over and over, like the tone, the tone, the tone. Because if you mess that up, no one knows what the hell they're watching, and it sucks. So with this one, it was super, super important. Like, okay, we have these two silly seeming monsters. They're fighting each other. We also need it to be scary. How do we do that? So we sat there and we were prepared ahead of time, just going over different scares and original ways to be scary, blah, blah, blah. Even like talking about the shots, which is obviously Bruce's thing, but he would talk to me about just so I know what's going on. I think towards the beginning was tending to lean more towards the comedic campy side. And every scene was probably 3 pages longer, just filled with jokes. And we just like slashed it. And that was especially why it was like 2 days before, like, dude, we got to cut this. So we were like, is it scary? No. Is it sort of funny? Okay, leave it in. But yeah, it was really hard finding that balance. But I think we just knew when we were doing the scripts, like where we got it to the point that it needed to be. And obviously when you get in post, you're going to be slashing it up and like just starting over anyway. But we did pretty much stick a lot to what we had before we shot, which usually isn't the case. Like a lot of times we go back like a month later and reshoot and stuff, which we only did a little bit for more monster coverage. But the hugest thing for all of the actors to know what the tone was Bruce shot, before I flew out there, he shot the Bigfoot Wendigo climactic fight scene, which is not a spoiler, it's in the trailer. So he shot that like I think 2 weeks ahead of time from when all the actors showed up and we were shooting the rest. So he quickly edited a rough version and put like this insane soundtrack to it, like almost sounding like Rocky or something. I mean, it's a little similar to what Nate did, the composer, but so he showed it to us and he was like, guys, this is the movie we're making. Like, just so everybody's on the same page. But yeah, then definitely it was hard because then you have parts that are almost supernatural dealing with the Wendigo with Ariella's character, Isabel. Mm-hmm. And with that, music helped a lot just while we were shooting. Like we really played the song from The Exorcist while she was writhing around in the bed. And just like turn the lights off. So it was very creepy. So we were a little scared. So it was good.
Yeah.
She freaked me out in this movie, man. I was not doing all those movements. That's not for me.
Well, she surprised all of us. She goes, oh, by the way, like I went to a coach like, to work on all this movement, just like super seriously prepared beforehand, and just came to set and just absolutely killed it. And I remember I was, we're all shooting in the same house and we're all living there. And I was trying to be so hard just getting like a soda in the kitchen, and they're shooting in the dining room. And I look over at her action and she's just like this crying past the door. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
Dan turned it off at that point.
As an older gentleman, I was like, young lady, you're going to feel that in 10 years. That is.
Oh, man.
Oh, glad you guys liked that.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. It really put me in I shouldn't have watched it late at night, so that was my mistake again. But
no, it's
being out there on set, on location like that. I'm from New York too. I know the Upper New York area, and it can get pretty freaky out there, man. So, how long did it shoot this? And were there any moments like, oh shit, like this is like, did you get freaked out by the movie and like being there?
Yeah, so I think we shot a week and a half or 12 days, maybe something. We shot pretty fast. There was one night, so we were all hanging out. It was like after we shot and everything, and we were on set together. We were all staying at the house, and we were just outside hanging out. And this guy comes. So first of all, we have this huge cornfield just surrounding. We scat out these places. The Airbnbs were like excellent, just acres. No one's around. This guy, like as if he just like comes out of the cornfield. We're like, who the hell is this guy? He's just like, hey, heard y'all shooting a movie. We're like, hell no. So I'm like, I refuse to acknowledge he's there. I'm just like looking away, like I just can't acknowledge it. So we're like, Bruce, this is your job. Go on. And Bruce just like pulls his walks over and he's like, hi. And the guy's like, we thought we were going to get in like some kind of trouble or something. And the guy's like, we heard y'all yelling over there. We know you're shooting a movie or something. And we're like, yeah. And he's like, cool, what is it? And like, just turned out to be like this nice guy who was just curious. But I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know, like, because I went to college in Troy, but that's still, you know, I didn't know people just like come into other people's backyards. It was pretty bizarre. And then I think the party was over. Like he was like trying to ask to hang out, and we're like, "How old are you?" He's like 18. We're like, "Get out of here!"
Oh man!
But he was very nice. He's like, "I'll check the movie out." Like, all right. And we all just went in for the night and locked the doors.
Oh yeah, stay inside. That's what the lesson this movie taught me. Stay inside.
Yes, stay inside.
Okay. He is obviously a horror aspect while filming, but let's talk about the horror aspects. You got the Wendigo eyes, a very simple but effective thing to do. It kind of reminded me of how John Carpenter uses Michael Myers' masks in The Darkness, which is another independent horror movie. Right. So it's like using those same tricks, which is really smart. The book was really, really well done. I like that. The possession of Isabella we talked about that. And the Sasquatch played by Sean Malloy, he did a great job too because of the intensity. Did you have creative input on a lot of this? Was some of this in your script, what you described, or what was it that you did with Bruce and the effects department?
So, yeah, the effects, I did like very vague things on purpose. Whenever I write like the actiony kind of stuff, I know that's Bruce's forte, so I keep it very vague. Like literally even in the script for the climactic fight, I go, Bigfoot in the Wendigo fight or something. Like Bigfoot's taking them out one by one, but like, I don't know if he's stepping on their heads. I don't know if he's throwing them. Like, you know, take care of that. But definitely, I think the special effects. We talked with Jared Balog, who was doing the special effects, and we also just go through with the finances. And we're like, this is the chunk of money. What can we do? Like, this is what we have in the script. We can tweak it, and he'll go through. And so we worked it out that way with him ahead of the time. And then, so the guy who did the book. His name is Anthony Ruccici. I like look at it to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. He's a super talented illustrator, and we actually used him before for this sci-fi movie called like Artifact. He did some art for that. He's done art for The Retreat with the Wendigo before. So literally all we needed was like 4-page. Like you show the book, and then you've got 4 pages, and you fake the rest. Like they're all empty.
Yeah.
He Bruce grabs the book, it's like 90 pages, and he just went to town in this beautiful art, and we were like, what the hell, man? And he's like, I don't know, just, you know.
So he doesn't get writer's block.
No, I know. And we're like, Anthony. So of course we were like, we gotta just put it in the opening credits, like it's amazing. So we just like got that handed to us, which was amazing. But yeah, I'd say mostly it was, you know, I write that it's happening, but it's very vague because I know everything's going to change once we get to set, including lines a lot of the time. So I'm like, whatever.
All right. Any last questions about the movie, Knock?
That's all for me. I think it was time for that quick hitters.
All right. Before we get to the quick hitters, we're just going to ask you some regular questions here about things that you would rather. So just pick one, and we'll get to know Anna Shields. Okay. Something's chasing you in the woods. Would you rather have it be the Wendigo or Jason from Friday the 13th?
Jason for Friday the 13th.
Right. Slow walker. You can do some stretches in between.
Yeah. And I can understand it better.
That's part of the fear.
Yeah.
Understand.
All right. One horror trope has got to go. Creepy doll heads or clowns?
Clowns.
Yeah.
I am not a clown. I'm not scared. I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. Some sad old man who paints his face. All right. Where would you rather spend the night? The creepy woods in Dawn of the Beast, where you have the Wendigo and Sasquatch in those woods. Creepy, creepy. Or would you rather spend the night on Hollywood Boulevard?
Pre-COVID?
Post. Tourists are back. Tents are up.
You know what? All right. I will do It has to be Hollywood Boulevard, not just Hollywood.
No, Hollywood Boulevard.
Mm.
Like you have to like sit and lay on the ground to sleep. Yeah.
No, I'll do Hollywood Boulevard. You know what? And because there's this guy who asked for money, and I usually give him some money, and he's got a dog, and the dog's nice, so I would just hang out with him and get some tips.
All right. Good choice. All right. You want to stay focused. You want to have good mental health, but what would drive you more crazy? Being possessed by the Wendigo, or again, working in customer service?
Oh, man. Dude, customer service, I can't.
Right.
I swear to God, I have nightmares. I have nightmares about people like yelling at me or just not being able to do something I'm supposed to know how to do on a computer. Like, it's just the worst, man.
It is.
I'll take anything over it, I swear to God.
Right. I mean, at least when you're possessed by the Wendigo, you can kill someone.
Exactly. And I can say what I'm really thinking. It's
Right.
just
Exactly.
the worst.
All right. Final one before we go into the speed round here with the quick hits.
Mhm.
All right. What is a more terrifying living situation? You're living in that cabin with the Wendigos, with the Sasquatch, with the creepy 18-year-old coming out wanting to party and hang out, or living in an apartment in LA next to someone who has a newborn baby.
I would prefer the newborn baby one. Because
Ooh.
I really love babies. They're so cute. And sometimes I get baby fever, and I know I'm not in a place to have a baby, so I can go satiate my baby needs over there. And then whenever it cries, it reminds me I am not ready for a baby. So it's actually a good thing.
Okay. Free birth control. That
Silver
works.
lining.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Now that you're nice and relaxed, you're eased into it. It's time to amp up a bit here. We're going to go a little faster.
Okay,
And
go fast.
We'll go back and forth. Not too many. Knock.
Okay.
Let her go.
All right. This is a big question here, Anna. How would Lily do on The Bachelor?
Lily would start out strong because she would bitch out the other contestants. She'd be an audience favorite, so the producers would push the guy to keep her, or girl,
Okay.
if we're going.
Yeah.
She would get voted out though because she'd shoot herself in the foot, and then all the gossip and all the girls would go to the person and be like, "She said this," and they'd cry, and then they'd confront Lily, and Lily wouldn't be able to lie, and she'd get kicked off.
Oh,
Damn, that's the whole season laid out.
definitely would watch that season.
All right. Which is more fun, writing or acting?
Whoa, acting is more fun.
Okay.
New York or LA food?
Food, New York.
Okay.
That's what I'll talk about.
Yeah.
You get to write a movie for one person, living or dead. Who is it?
Oh God.
Any movie, any genre, any length.
Oh no, I'm stuck. Why am I not even okay? You're talking about directors. Danny Boyle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Following up on that, 3 dinner guests, dead or alive.
Oh my God. Okay. Rowan Atkinson, who played Mr. Bean, was a huge influence when I was little. Him. Cillian Murphy, I think it's like the best actor in the world.
Oh, man.
Cillian Murphy. Kristen Stewart, 'cause I love her too.
Oh, man. I can't imagine the dinner conversation for that one.
Feel away.
One roommate from Seinfeld, Kramer or Newman?
Oh, Kramer. Of course.
And to finish it off, top 3 horror films.
28 Days Later. Lake Mungo. Honestly, it sounds stupid, but the Mothman Prophecies. Really loved it.
Okay.
Okay.
Anna Shields, everybody.
Hey!
Well, thanks for
Thank
coming
you guys
on.
so much. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
We had a lot of fun. Any last words about the movie that you want to share with anyone, Anna?
Check it out. It's on Amazon, Vudu, other online places, iTunes, and it will be at Walmart. I'm not sure when. Probably another month. It'll be there.
Nice. The
Donna
links
Lees.
will be in the description.
Yeah, we got all the links in the description. If you want the DVD, you can get it on Amazon right now. This movie is a lot of fun. It delivers what you want. Thank you so much for doing this, Anna. Knock, any last words?
Please don't scare me again like this.
I do not promise it.
All right. Well, the movie is Dawn of the Beast. You can find it on video on demand. We got all the links for you guys to hit up no matter what you want to get it on. Also, again, DVD you can get on Amazon. Thank you, Anna, so much for joining us. Dawn of the Beast is the movie for West Coast Pop. Let's just say goodbye to Anna Knock. Thank you again. Everyone check out the movie and have a good week.
Thanks.